making headlines, the government proposes amendments to the Export-Import Act aimed at increasing import duties on tobacco products. The Parliament approves a budget of $7.39 million for the Auditor General's office for the upcoming year. And the Finance Minister announces plans to amend regulations mandating that all government-owned companies appoint a chartered accountant.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiza Sattar. And now the news in detail. The government proposes amendments to the Export-Import Act aimed at increasing import duties on tobacco and tobacco products as part of its efforts to control tobacco use. The bill was presented to the Parliament by parliamentarian Ibrahim Muhammad.
The proposed amendments include increase in import duties on cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and the flavors and chemicals used in vaping products and all tobacco products. Additionally, the importation of e-cigarettes, vape products, and related items will be banned starting November 15. Attorney General Ahmad Usham explained that the amendments propose a 25% duty and $0.20 per cigarette. Flavors and chemicals added to e-cigarettes or other tobacco products will incur a 50% duty and $0.52 per milliliter on goods imported before the cutoff date. Moreover, the amendment includes a 50% duty and $0.52 per stick on heated tobacco products which are designed to be heated without combustion. The government is also proposing a 200% duty on e-cigarettes and vaping devices. The bill outlines the estimated revenue from these import duties, projecting that Maldives will collect approximately $68 million next year. It also includes amendments related to the circumstances under which import duty and royalty revenues can be exempted. Starting next month, the duties on cigarettes and tobacco will be raised as stated by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. Furthermore, the President has announced plans to implement a ban on vaping effective from December 15. He confirmed that the import of vaping devices and their components will be prohibited starting November 15.
The Parliament approves a budget of $7.39 million for Auditor General's Office AGO for the upcoming year. The budget was passed unanimously by the members present in today's Parliament sitting. The Constitution mandates the AGO to submit its budget separately to ensure its independence from external influences. The AGO submitted a budget of $6.45 million with $5.21 million for recurrent and capital expenses and $1.23 million for the construction works of the office building being developed in Hulumale. The AGO consulted the Ministry of Finance during budget preparations, suggesting the reduction in salaries and wages. However, the Budget Committee opted not to do so, citing past complaints from the AGO about difficulties in hiring experienced auditors due to low salaries. They stressed the importance of a budget that avoids financial constraints while enhancing the office's capabilities. Furthermore, the Ministry of Finance recommended raising the $1.23 million budget allocated for developing the office building in Hulumale to $2.20 million. As a result, a revised budget of $7.39 million was submitted to the committee, which was approved by a majority of its members. And now we'll take a short break for Isha prayers. Stay tuned.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
मी जमान तक वंदन हल्लु नुवै ಗೆದರುಗ ಮಸಲೆ ತಾಬದ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ಹಲ್ಲು ದಿಂದಾನ ಹಲ್ಲು ಕೊದ್ದೆ
ಅಳಗಣ ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮೀ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ಗಿನ ಮಶ್ರೂತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರಿಯಂಗೆ ಬಗೆಂದೆ ಉಮ್ರಾಣಿ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ದಾಯರಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಏಕಿ ಕಂಕೊತೌಗ ಕುರಿಯತ ಮಶ್ರೂತಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫಹುಗೆ ತಫ್ಸೀಲತ
ರನ್ವೇ ಮಿ ಉನ್ನನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಂಡು ಕೊತ್ತಿಂ ಬಯಕ ಬಹಾಲಾಫ
ಮಿ ಮಶ್ರೂತ ಕುರಿಯ ಗೆಂದನಿ ಗಿನ ಗೊಂಜವಂತಕ ಕಾಯಕು
ಹಗೀಗತುಗ ಮುಳಿ ಮಾಲೆಯಂ ಹಲ್ಲೆಂ ಅಣ್ಣಾಣಿ ಮುಳಿ ಮಾಲೆಗೆ ಹುರಿಹಾ ಮಗುತಕ್ ಹೆದಿಗೆ ಮಾಲೆಗೆ ಹುರಿಹಾ ತನಕ ಸ್ಟೋಮ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಡ್ರೈನೇಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇಂದೇವಿಗೆ
ರೈತುಗೆ ಹೋಫೆಂತಕ ಗೊಳಿಫವಾ ಮಿ ಮಶ್ರೂತಗೆ ತಫ್ಸೀಲ್ ಅಳ್ನ ಬೆಲು ತೆರಿನಾ ಹಮೆ ಗೆನಸ್ತೇನಾ
ದುವೆಲಿ ಆದಿತ್ಯ ದುವಹುಗೆರೆ 22 ಕಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮಿನೆಟುಗ PSM ನ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್
Welcome back to PSM News in English, and now we'll continue with the news. Minister of Finance Musa Zamir announces plans to amend regulations mandating that all government-owned companies appoint a chartered accountant. This initiative aims to enhance the financial management of these entities, is highlighted by the minister during a press conference addressing public expenditure management issues.
Minister Zamir emphasized the government's commitment to reforming state-owned enterprises, SOEs, noting that audits for companies like Fenaka Corporation revealed a lack of proper financial statements prepared by accountants. He acknowledged previous efforts by former finance ministers to address these shortcomings and confirmed discussions with the President to implement this requirement. The finance minister stated that the government will determine the accounts of each SOE through a chartered accountant in Maldives, necessitating each SOE to hire an accountant and establish an auditing system. He underscored the need for a robust legal framework to manage state assets within these companies, ensuring accountability for those responsible. Noting that there is a specialized section within the ministry and a separate legal institution, Minister Zamir highlighted that this leads to legal conflicts. Meanwhile, Attorney General Ahmad Usham highlighted ongoing legal ambiguities regarding representation for state-owned companies, noting the absence of a sufficient system to investigate recent corruption cases within these entities. He suggested that a dedicated regulatory body for government companies may enhance oversight, indicating that previous management under the Finance Ministry had been more effective. He added that any necessary legal amendments are under consideration to resolve these issues.
Minister Zamir. Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, says work is ongoing to enhance electricity networks on islands to facilitate the installations of solar PV systems under the net metering regulations. Speaking to Parliament, the minister emphasized that these initiatives aims to help households reduce their electricity bills.
In response to parliamentarian Amin Faisal's concerns about some households in Kandithim Island not receiving permission to install solar PV systems, Minister Tariq explained that the electricity grid in the island can only accommodate a maximum of 40 additional connections, as exceeding this limit could jeopardize the grid's stability, particularly in the context of climate change. The minister noted that solar PV systems in the island currently supply 43% of the island's peak load, and further installations can be supported by enhancing battery energy storage and the electricity network. He reiterated the government's commitment to providing solar PV systems to island communities by developing battery systems and network infrastructure. The minister also addressed questions regarding protected areas in the Maldives, revealing that while 96 areas have been designated as protected, only 5 are being effectively maintained. He stated the government's goal is to improve management of these sites and highlighted ongoing efforts to train personnel and secure funding for these initiatives.
The Minister of Construction and Infrastructure announces its readiness to conduct studies for the development of roads in Male and Vilimale.
State Minister for Construction and Infrastructure Ibrahim Nazim informed PSMNEWS that the reconstruction of the roads will commence shortly to address existing issues. Preparations for the necessary studies are underway, and technical experts will soon arrive in the Maldives to initiate this research. He stated that the completion of the roadworks will provide a lasting solution to the challenges currently faced by these roadways. The road development in Male and Vilimale will be funded through grants from the Chinese government. This initiative includes paving city roads and enhancing water and sewerage systems, electrical infrastructure, stormwater management, and fire hydrants. Earlier this year, the Road Development Corporation, RDC, was awarded the contract to conduct topographic, geotechnical, hydrological surveys, and environmental impact assessments (EIA) for the road construction project in Vilimale. A total of 5.6 kilometers of roads will be constructed, including the installation of electrical, sewerage and drainage systems. The primary challenges facing the roads in Mali include deterioration and flooding. While previous efforts have been made to address these issues, no permanent solutions have been implemented to date. In the interim, temporary drainage systems are being installed in the most flood-prone areas of the city.
Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hassan emphasizes the importance of statistics in shaping effective government policies. He made the remarks during the National Statistics Day event hosted by the Maldives Customs Service. Speaking at the event, Minister Hassan noted that strong statistical additions can significantly benefit the country and its businesses. He also noted that nearly 50% of imports are duty-free, which results in a substantial revenue loss for the state, calling for a review of these figures to improve revenue generation. He further addressed the previous trend of concealing statistics in Maldives, advocating for greater transparency and accessibility of data for the public. Meanwhile, Commissioner General of Customs, Fatmat Diana, highlighted the Customs Service's responsibility to provide accurate import and export statistics, pledging to prioritize data disclosure. She stressed the necessity of data-driven decisions for the nation's development across various sectors. The Maldives Customs Service discloses that over 16,000 vehicles were imported to the Maldives last year. Of these, 15,551 were vehicles, including 1,347 cars. The Maldives sees over 10,000 new road vehicle registrations annually, with motorcycles making up 90% of these imports, particularly in the Mali area. Efforts by various governments to manage the growing number of imported vehicles have yet to yield solutions. In the last 5 years, the government registered 69,780 vehicles, with over 42,000 in Mali, making it the most congested area in the country. The rising number of vehicles, including many that remain unused, has worsened traffic conditions. Challenges include registrations exceeding garage capacities and fraudulent documentation. In response, the current government has now initiated measures to address these issues. The Road Traffic Act empowers local councils to set limits on vehicle registrations and usage periods in specific areas. A recent amendment allows councils to evaluate and categorize vehicles into public, transport, private, commercial and industrial, with the option to create subcategories. The Environmental Protection Agency EPA imposes fines totaling $1.9 million on 2 vessels, Tug Anadi and barge AM Manumit, which ran aground north of Hulmale on February 21st. The vessels were successfully recovered from the shore in April. Following the incident, the EPA conducted a survey to assess the damage caused to the surrounding reef in collaboration with surveyors appointed by the vessel owners. The survey revealed that 1,159 areas of reef had been severely damaged. As a result, the EPA has decided to fine the Middle East Marine LLC, the operator of the vessels, $1.9 million. This is not the first instance of penalties imposed on the Middle East Marine LLC, as a previous tug and barge owned by the company had also been fined for similar violations. Australian mining giant BHP goes on trial on Monday over one of Brazil's worst environmental disasters, potentially triggering billions of dollars in compensation to be shared among hundreds of thousands of plaintiffs.
The High Court in London will examine over several months whether BHP was partly liable for the 2015 collapse of a dam at a mining waste site in Brazil. The rupture killed 19 people and unleashed a deluge of thick, toxic mud into villages, fields, rainforests, rivers, and the ocean. The Fundo Tailing Dam at an iron ore mine in the mountains of Minas Gerais state was managed by Samarco, co-owned by BHP and Brazilian miner Well. At the time of the disaster, BHP had global headquarters in the UK as well as in Australia. A separate case in Brazil has seen Well and BHP offer to pay almost $30 billion in compensation. Well has offered to share any compensation BHP ends up paying as a result of the London trial. Tom Goodhart of law firm August Goodhart, which brought the case, told a news conference last week that the London trial was the culmination of a 6-year UK legal battle. The tragedy in the town of Mariana unleashed a torrent of almost 45 million cubic meters of highly toxic mining waste sludge, flooding 39 towns and leaving more than 600 people homeless. The flood killed thousands of animals and devastated protected areas of tropical rainforest. The amount of damages sought in the upcoming civil trial is estimated at a total of $47 billion on behalf of more than 620,000 plaintiffs, including 46 Brazilian municipalities, companies, and indigenous peoples. The hearing, set to last until early March, must determine BHP's potential liability surrounding the disaster. If it is found to be liable, another UK trial should take place from October 2026 to determine the amount of damages. BHP has said the London court case is unnecessary because of ongoing legal procedures in Brazil. The company estimated that more than 200,000 plaintiffs in the London case had already been compensated. BHP added that the Renova Foundation, which manages the compensation and rehabilitation programs, has already paid out more than $7.8 billion in emergency financial aid.
Israel conducted airstrikes hitting a Lebanese association linked to Hezbollah, accusing it on Monday of financing the group's weapons as it expanded the scope of its raids beyond military targets.
In southern Lebanon, Israeli strikes hit Al-Qad al-Hassan branches in the cities of Nabatea and Tyre overnight, according to the official national news agency. On Monday, the Israeli military said it had conducted a series of strikes against dozens of facilities and sites used by Hezbollah in Beirut and southern Lebanon, including on branches of the financial institution. The strikes mark an expansion of Israel's nearly month-long war with Hezbollah as it seeks to degrade the group's ability to fund operations. Israel accuses Al-Qad al-Hassan of funding Hezbollah's terror activities, including the purchase of weapons and payments to militants. Hezbollah built its loyal support base in Shia Muslim areas of Lebanon by providing protection, health, education, and financial services in a state long racked by sectarianism and corruption. Al-Qad al-Hassan is a Hezbollah-linked financial firm offering microcredit in a country where the traditional banking system collapsed 5 years ago at the start of a crushing economic crisis. It is sanctioned by the United States, which accuses Hezbollah of using it as a cover to mask the group's financial activities and gain access to the international financial system. On Sunday, 11 strikes hit Beirut's southern suburbs, and NNA reported many of them targeting Al-Qad al-Hassan. Just a month ago, South Beirut's bustling streets were packed with traffic, families strolling about, and youths in cafes. The NNA also reported a strike near Beirut's airport, the main entry point of humanitarian assistance to the country and a major evacuation hub for those fleeing the conflict. According to the Israeli military, dozens of projectiles were launched across the border Monday morning. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant told troops Sunday that the military was stepping up strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon, destroying places the group planned to use as launch pads for attacks against Israel.
Tommy Edman hit a two-run home run, drove in 4 runs, and the Los Angeles Dodgers advanced to the World Series with a 10-5 victory over the New York Mets on Sunday night in Game 6 of the National League Championship Series.
Will Smith added a 2-run home run as the Dodgers earned a matchup with the New York Yankees in the Fall Classic, which begins on Friday in Los Angeles. It will be the Dodgers' 4th World Series appearance in the past 8 seasons. In a bullpen game, 7 Dodgers pitchers gave up 11 hits and struck out 9. Mancaspers went 1 1/3 innings to earn the win, and Blake Treinen pitched the final 2 innings for his 3rd save of the playoffs. Edman had 11 RBIs in 6 games against the Mets to tie Corey Seager's franchise record for RBIs in a single NLCS, a mark set in 2020. Mark Vientos hit a 2-run home run for the Mets, while Sean Manaea gave up 5 runs on 6 hits over 2+ innings. The Mets fell 2 victories short of a Subway Series after securing postseason berth on the final day of the regular season and getting past the Milwaukee Brewers and Philadelphia Phillies in the playoffs. The Mets had an early 1-0 lead after Pete Alonso hit a blooper over the mound for a run-scoring infield single in the first inning. The Dodgers responded in their half of the first when Shohei Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez singled before Edman doubled them home for a 2-1 lead. Los Angeles made it 6-1 in the 3rd inning when Edman hit a 2-run home run of Manaea and Smith hit a 2-run shot of Phil Maton. The Mets got within 6-3 in the 4th inning when Vientos greeted right-hander Ryan Brazier with a 2-run home run for his 5th long ball of the postseason. Los Angeles added a run in the 6th inning on Ohtani's RBI bloop single to center field. The Mets got the run back on a sacrifice fly from Francisco Alvarez. The Dodgers poured it on in the 8th inning with an RBI double from Mookie Betts, a sacrifice fly from Hernandez, and an RBI single from Enrique Hernandez. Jeff McNeil had a run-scoring single in the 9th inning of the Mets. New York had its chances but left the bases loaded in the 3rd inning when McNeil struck out and in the 6th when Jesse Winker hit a lazy fly out to left. The visitors left 13 runners on base in the game and went 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
मी ज़मान तक वंदन हल्लु नुवै ಗೆದರುಗೆ ಮಸಲೆಯ ತಾಬದ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ಹಲ್ಲು ದಿಂದಾಣ ಹಲ್ಲು ಕೊದ್ದೆ
ಅಳಗಣ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮೀ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತರ